Hey, how's it going? This is Melinda and welcome to my channel. So today I want to talk to you about outrageously priced records. This time I'm talking about sealed records, so it's a little different. I have so much fun when I get to make these kind of videos. I love going into a store, seeing these crazy prices, and my first thought is, bless your heart for charging so much or for asking so much. My second thought is, I gotta record this because a lot of you get a kick out of this too. Outrageously priced records I think are way too expensive, but this time, these are sealed copies, so it's a little different. There are some good things about buying sealed records and some negatives as well, and I want to talk about both, tell you the prices of what they were asking for some crazy records. One of them I'm going to defend because I think it was probably priced accurately. The rest of them, I cannot even imagine. So let's get into it. I also am going to be doing the speaker giveaway today. I have yet to draw the name. I'm going to do it in this video. Look, you guys, I got the bowl right here. So at the end of this video, I am going to draw the lucky winner of the Vanguard Scout speakers from Veri-Fi Audio. So stay tuned for that and find out if you're the winner. I had a great amount of entries, so that was a lot of fun. Now let's go ahead and talk about sealed records. I do see sealed records from time to time. I have bought a few, and I don't have a ton of sealed records in my collection. I have a few, but usually when I buy sealed records, my intention is I am going to open them and play them. But there are people out there, we all have our own little area of collection, things we like to buy. There's no judgment. Whatever you want to buy that brings joy to your life is fine. I'm not judgmental about that at all. But sealed records, some people just like to buy and collect sealed records. And I'm not one of those people. I tend to want to buy, or I tend to want to open everything I get. But I do run into sealed records from time to time, and they do serve a purpose. Let's talk a little bit about the good. I'm going to show you my most recent find that was a sealed record that I opened. So this was under $10, so the price was right. This is the Alan Parsons Project Pyramid. And I found this one, again, I paid under $10 for it. It still had the hype sticker and sealed. I thought this was a no-brainer to buy because I knew the record would be very clean. And I thought it would sound really good because it's Alan Parsons. And I also know there's some silent parts to some of his records. You need one that doesn't have clicks and pops. So when you are buying a sealed record, chances are it's like buying something brand new, only 40 years later, right? That record came out a long time ago. It's an old record, and yet it was still miraculously sealed. So I think the upswing to buying sealed records is you get something that hasn't been played, should be in perfect condition. There are some downsides to it though. When you buy a sealed record, you honestly don't know what is inside. It could be a record from a collection that was stored in an attic for years and years and years, where it endured dangerous levels of heat and also freezing cold temperatures too. There could be huge warps. There is a case where I honestly thought I bought a record at a store that had been opened before, and someone had resealed it and then sold it to the record store like it was brand new. And I think that's a shame, but that does happen. I bought that record thinking it was sealed, and I opened it and it wasn't even playable. The record store owner instantly refunded me for that purchase. They probably took a hit. That was a sad situation, but that does happen. So anytime you buy something sealed, it's a huge gamble. But also, I bought the Allman Brothers Idlewild South. I think I purchased this last November because I've been wanting this record for a long time. And anytime I found a used copy, it was beat to death. So I paid a little extra. I would say This record probably sells for $15 or under, and I paid about $25 for it. So I paid a $10 premium to get a sealed copy. Worth it to me because it plays without a hiccup. It's beautiful, but again, you never know. It could have a huge warp. It could be totally damaged from the way something is stored. Sealed records. Let's go ahead and talk now about the outrageously priced ones. I want to start because I saw a Debbie Gibson record at this store. It was her debut album called Out of the Blue. Still sealed, and this store wanted $59.99 for it. So $60 for a sealed Debbie Gibson record. I couldn't believe it because that just seems outrageous to me. But how much premium do you put on a sealed copy? Of course, I didn't buy it. But when I got home and I started looking at my collection, I realized, and I had forgot I bought this. This is a Debbie Gibson Electric Youth album. This was her second album. I could be wrong, but it came out, I think, after Out of the Blue. This was a really successful record. I found a still sealed copy of it a long time ago, thinking, I thought I was going to listen to it, and I never did. Somehow it got put into the collection and on the shelf without me playing it. Still sealed. So it got me to thinking, my goodness, how much would a sealed copy of a Debbie Gibson record really actually be? Surely it's not $60. So I did some digging on Discogs. I didn't go like really deep. I just looked up US pressings. I found her Out of the Blue album to be $26.95, I believe. And then this Electric Youth album, still sealed, so, it sold for $43. So I looked at sold, what already sold. Out of the Blue had sold as a sealed copy for $26.95, a far cry from the $60 asking price at the store. But Electric Youth still sold for $43 one time. Who did that, I'm not judging, but who did that? Who paid $43 for that record? So the next one is a beautiful album cover and a really good record, Madonna's True Blue. This photo was taken by Herb Ritz, and I will say I think her Like a Virgin album cover is perfection. She looks so beautiful in it. It's perfect. But from an artistic standpoint, I think this is her best album cover. It's so beautiful. I've always been a big fan of the album cover, and I love the music on here. They had a sealed copy of this at this store for $69.99. So basically $70. The copy I bought was already opened. It didn't have a poster. I believe there was a poster in the originals. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I paid under $10. I think I paid right at $10 for it. Is having a sealed copy of that worth over $60 more than what I paid? I don't know. I can't imagine. I did some digging on Discogs. Again, I didn't go too deep, but I saw that a US pressing of the Madonna's True Blue album sold for $50 one time. So it's a little more, it's $20 more, $70 versus what someone paid at $50 for a sealed copy. So yeah, that's a little bit overpriced. While we're at that, I just want to say this, it got me to thinking about paying. I think we've all got deals and paid way less than we should have for a record. But I also think we get caught in we paid too much for a record too. I know I'm guilty of that. I've done that before and I kick myself. And I shouldn't do that. I think overall, when we're buying vinyl records, sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, and it all balances out in the end. So I would say if you accidentally somehow pay $10, $15 over what maybe you should have paid for a record, try not to beat yourself up over it, because I used to do that a little bit. And I just came to a point where I realized, okay, I paid $10 more for this record than I should have, but is $10 in my life really going to mean anything more? Is it really going to make that big of a difference? And the answer is absolutely not. And I have the record I really wanted, and maybe I paid a little too much for it, but I have the record to enjoy. And in the end, $10 in my lifetime isn't really that big of a deal. So kind of think of that sometimes, because I tend to beat myself up when I overpay for a record. So now I want to talk to you about another one that I saw I don't own in my collection. It was from DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. And of course, the Fresh Prince is Will Smith, who went on to be on the TV show The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And of course, now he's this huge movie star who punched Chris Rock at an Oscars. That's another story. But anyway, a record, and in this corner, sold, or their asking price for it was $59.99. The most it's ever sold for, still sealed, from what my digging on Discogs, was $35. So that, to me, is also way overpriced. And if it's open, it's only a $10 record. So yeah, that's kind of tough. Paying $60 for a sealed copy of that record is a far cry. My guess is it's still at that store. Now I'm going to show you one that they had at this store that I honestly think may be an accurate price. Really, really expensive. And if you are someone who has a record store, or you have a little booth somewhere, you sell records on the side to help you pay for your own collection, tell me what you think of this. I really want to know. And bless your heart, I love a lot of you who collect vinyl, but you also have your own booth at a flea market or an antique store. I get some of my best deals from people like you. So thank you so much for doing that. Let's show you this record. This is Stevie Wonder's Songs at the Key of Life. I saw this record at that store and they wanted $110 for it. A lot of money, ridiculous money, but hear me out. It was still sealed. How many copies of this amazingly popular record are still going to be sealed? I can understand why some of the records I've already showed were still sealed, but a classic like this, and I don't know what that pressing is. Maybe second, third, fourth pressings didn't have the 7-inch single in it in the book, but what if that one did for $110? And you're getting that single that came in it, the book. Again, how many records that came out in 1976 were that extremely popular are still going to be sealed? I saw where on Discogs, when I did some digging on US pressings, that this record sold for about $75. That was the maximum, but they were already opened, but in great condition. The album itself, the vinyl, was near mint. But I mean, think about it, $110. That's a lot of money, and to me, on its face, seems overpriced. But is it really? If you are someone who happens to like to buy sealed copies of records, that one might be a true treasure. So no judgment on the $110 on that one. I would be really curious to hear from record store owners, from people who sell records on the side. Is that a fair price for that Stevie Wonder record? Because I thought, that might be fair. So now I also want to show you a couple records that I saw these sealed copies of, and I thought, no way are these records, even sealed, worth what this record is. Okay, so what it should be. Okay, so Culture Club, Kissing to Be Clever. I love my copy of it. It was bought from Kmart. It has all of the little Hallmark things you used to see. My mom used to take us to Kmart, and I would see, my sister and I, we would just immediately go to the music department while she did her other shopping at Kmart. We would look through all of the records. So to see all of this little Kmart sticker and everything's really cool. I want to share something else with you about Kmart. Okay, so the Kmart I used to go to closed a long time ago. It's now an antique store. And what's really cool about it is around the area where the music used to be, there is a booth that still sells vinyl records. So as a kid, I went to that area to look for vinyl records. And this was back when I lived in Kentucky, Indiana area. So I'm talking about Indiana. A Kmart in Newburgh, Indiana, to be exact. Around that area, there's a booth there that still sells vinyl records. So I thought that was really cool. But anyway, Kissing to Be Clever. The sealed copy was $75, $74.99 to be exact. Really? I mean, is this record really worth $74.99, even if it's sealed? I don't think so. And I did some digging. I couldn't find a record that was still sealed that had been sold lately. It didn't show up for me. I could have probably spent a lot more time digging. I might have found a result. I don't know. Again, Culture Club, color by numbers. This was, again, sealed for $74.99, basically $75. You know, I love those Culture Club records. I really do. My favorite song by Culture Club is probably Do You Really Want to Hurt Me, the first track that put them on the map. I like the airiness of the recording, and I like the moodiness of that song. I've still been a big fan of it, even to this day. But I would never pay $75 for that record. It's a 10. I think now in good shape, it's probably a $15 to $20 record. But I just cannot even imagine paying $75 for it. And again, the risks of buying sealed records. You know, there's a great reward, but it's also at a great risk. So let me know where you stand on sealed copies of records. Do you buy them? Do you avoid them? What do you think about the prices? Do you think they're fair? And now I'm going to do the drawing for the speaker giveaway, Vanguard Scouts by Veri-Fi Audio. I made a review a couple of weeks ago of these speakers, and for the price, I think they're absolutely amazing. The fine folks at Veri-Fi Audio agreed to do a giveaway and give a pair of speakers out to a lucky winner on my channel. So a lot of you put your name in, a ton of you put your name in to win these speakers. And I wrote every single name down. Everybody, you are in this bowl. Handwritten little names. And if you entered within the deadline, you're in here. And there were a few people who did multiple entries, but I only gave you one entry into here. So everybody has an equal chance to win the Vanguard Scouts. So I'm going to do the drawing now. Best of luck to everybody. I wish I could give all of you a pair of speakers. I love my viewers, and best of luck. Let's go ahead and draw. And also, whether you were the first person to enter or the last, this bowl has been mixed thoroughly, so it doesn't matter where you entered. Every one of you has an equal chance, and I'm just going to go ahead and draw a name. Let me just kind of dig in there, pull one out, and let me see who won here. I cannot read this. I'm going to have to put on my glasses. Sign of age. Okay. Cradio 52. I just went by what I saw on my comments, and it's CRADIO 52. You are the lucky winner of my speakers. So congratulations. Please get a hold of me either on Facebook, or I will leave in the description how you can get a hold of me on Instagram. Otherwise, leave a comment on this video and let me know who you are, and we will figure out I need to get your address so we can send those speakers to you. Again, congratulations, Cradio, CRADIO 52. You are the winner. And thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.